What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be going over 20 proven tactics that fashion brands use to hook customers' emotions and boost profits. These proven tactics target emotion-driven shoppers. In other words, they buy based on how they feel and not based on what they need. I'm going to show a ton of examples from several different brands. And then I'm going to discuss 5 strategies that small brands can use. I know not everybody watching here works for a large brand or owns a large brand. I myself, as a small brand owner, find these strategies particularly useful. My name's Chris Drago. I've been running a brand called Pathos of Things for about 5 years now. And I make videos on YouTube documenting my process, so I get better every day at being a brand owner and creative director. I highly recommend accessing my database of whiteboards, PDFs, and slides, including the one that you'll see here in this episode, absolutely for free. And I'll personally email you this document, which has links to all of my Figma boards. Link is in the description. The first thing that I want to talk about before I get into the specifics of what these brands are doing to appeal to emotion-driven consumers is the concept of the Zeitgeist. The definition of Zeitgeist is the defining spirit or mood of a particular period of history, as shown by the ideas and beliefs of the time. The Zeitgeist is constantly changing, and therefore people are influenced by different things every year. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, sales of loungewear, comfort clothing, and athleisure wear increased significantly. This can be attributed to the collective mood of seeking comfort and wellness at home. Consumers swapped out jeans and office wear for yoga pants, sweats, and shorts as they worked from home. Brands like Nike, Adidas, Puma, and Reebok saw insane increases in sales. That's a good example of capturing the zeitgeist in the moment. But sometimes brands capture the zeitgeist of past periods. Clothing designs become nostalgic when they evoke fond memories and sentimental feelings. For example, after the release of the movie The Great Gatsby in 2013, there was a surge in demand for 1920s inspired fashion. Brooks Brothers just so happened to produce all of the men's costumes for the film, and then released collections for sale to the public, which resonated emotionally with consumers captivated by the movie's nostalgic aesthetic. Another example of capitalizing on the zeitgeist of the time is when events like Coachella cause attendees to make lots of last-minute impulsive purchases on bohemian-style clothing. Brands like Free People capitalize on this and do huge influencer deals with people like Taylor Swift and treat Coachella almost like a second Black Friday. Another way that brands connect with emotion-driven consumers is through color. Brands utilize color psychology to evoke the desired emotions related with that color. For example, Forever 21 has bright yellow shopping bags and feature bright lights and bright colors in their store experience. The yellow color creates a sense of youth, happiness, optimism, and playfulness, which appeals to shoppers who view shopping as a fun and upbeat experience. The brand will also include little Easter eggs on their packaging, like this Bible verse, which was then discussed on Reddit in the subreddit IRL Easter eggs. Victoria's Secret uses a very bold color palette consisting mainly of pink and red. Pink is often associated with femininity, romance, softness, and beauty, while red is associated with passion, energy, boldness, and power, which speaks to the target audience that wants to feel sexy and empowered while wearing these intimate clothes. Emotion-driven consumers also often seek social connection and validation through their fashion, causing brands like Represent 247 to create a sense of belonging for their customers. 247 offers rewards that provide social recognition, like featuring loyal customers and members of their run club on social media. These customers are then invited to participate in brand content and get access to exclusive communities and training programs. Some consumers will only buy fashion that allows self-expression and individuality. Noah New York is a streetwear brand that tackles this by blending fashion with social activism. They encourage their customers to express ethical stances from environmental issues to social justice through their clothing, causing individuals to align their fashion choices with their values. Wearing this jacket from Noah New York is not only stylish, but it tells people that see you wearing this garment what you stand for. So it becomes a symbol of your values rather than just an aesthetic. Noah also donates 1% of all purchases to a nonprofit. that are related to youth development, sustainable farming, environmental justice, and cleaning the ocean. Continuing with the personal identity idea, but in a much different direction, Vivienne Westwood is known for challenging norms and appeals to those who want to make bold statements. This is an example from another one of my YouTube videos where I broke down the art direction for Jenny's new campaign, announcing her signing with Columbia Records. The stylist decided to put Jenny in all Vivienne Westwood clothing, which aligns Jenny with Westwood's punk attitude and political statements, which is fitting considering that her content has become much more provocative, and she's telling the world that she is a powerful solo artist that can't be chained down by her record label. The next way to engage emotion-driven consumers is through sensory marketing, which engages the senses through visuals, sounds, and textures. For example, Gentle Monster is an eyewear brand that integrates art installations, futuristic designs, and ambient music into its stores, which transforms each space into a sensory experience. People don't go to the Gentle Monster store just to buy glasses or sunglasses. They go to be immersed in this multi-sensory experience. Abercrombie does something similar where they constantly diffuse the signature cologne Fierce throughout their stores, which is on purpose and creates a memorable shopping environment, which is known as olfactory marketing. I actually found a thread on Quora where someone asked why Abercrombie & Fitch has such a strong smell, and asked what it's supposed to evoke. This person, Lawrence, mentioned that the smell sticks with most people the longest and reminds customers and potential customers of Abercrombie & Fitch always and forever. They went on to mention a specific event where an Abercrombie & Fitch flagship store was opened in Tokyo, and the brand had people drive trucks around the area spraying the streets with the Fierce fragrance. You can read more about that, as well as an article from Shopify about scent marketing in the document. So be sure to download the document for free, link in the description. Social influence is one of the biggest factors in convincing people to buy, because emotions and decisions are heavily swayed by peers, influencers, and trends. There's actually a phenomenon called the Meghan Markle effect, which happens when Meghan Markle wears a piece of clothing or an accessory, and then those items sell out super quick, because consumers want to feel connected to her and be a part of the trend. Back in 2017, Meghan Markle carried a bag by the brand Strathberry, and within 11 minutes of the photos appearing online, the bag sold out. Many emotion-driven consumers will also buy for the reason of retail therapy, where after maybe a breakup or a tough day at work, someone will impulsively buy a luxury item to boost their mood, like a Gucci handbag or a Rolex watch. Some people like to buy something as simple as new socks, and that makes them feel better. But typically when I think of retail therapy, I think of splurging on something really expensive that you don't really need because it might make you feel better temporarily. Many consumers may buy products to feel a part of a charitable effort or social cause, like people who buy Tom's shoes, where they give away one pair of shoes for every pair that is bought, which has resulted in over 75 million pairs of shoes given away to children and has created 700 jobs and enrolled more than 1,000 students in Liberian primary school. Many consumers that buy Toms are motivated by compassion rather than a need for new footwear. Emotion-driven consumers often seek out brands that make them feel special and valued, so brands have been launching exclusive access and VIP experiences, where customers can get limited edition products, they can go to pre-launch events, creating a feeling of privilege. The limited access makes the reward feel more valuable in person. Louis Vuitton frequently holds invitation-only events for top customers, providing them with first access to new collections or bespoke services, which people post and discuss about on Reddit. In a similar lane to the charity social cause consumers, there are also many emotion-driven consumers that will only buy something that is eco-friendly. Patagonia, for example, has cultivated a loyal customer base through its commitment to environmental sustainability, creating an emotional connection with consumers who value eco-consciousness. These customers repeatedly purchased products from Patagonia over and over and over because the brand aligns with their personal values and their desire to support environmental causes. Mate the Label is another example of brands that prioritize eco-friendly practices by using 100% plastic-free packaging and offering biodegradable garment bags. They have an 8-part manifesto on their website that breaks down all of their values, like using organic materials with no toxins, making garments that are meant to be worn year-round instead of just for a short period, with ethical labor practices in their supply chain, a woman-centered business structure, absolutely no plastic, recycled materials, and GOTS certifications. Christy Dawn does something similar with their farm to closet approach, which shares detailed stories about the origins of each garment and introduces consumers to the farms and communities involved in the process, which tells a story and weaves an emotional narrative into each product. Storytelling is one of the most powerful tools that a brand can use to sell something. Another example of using narratives to create emotional bonds is the Adidas Impossible is Nothing campaign, which I left a link to the video in the document. Adidas turned the slogan into a lifestyle and highlighted stories of athletes overcoming adversity, like Muhammad Ali, David Beckham, and James Harden. Consumers see themselves in their favorite athletes, and this fosters a community of people that value performance and perseverance. I feel like this ad would go crazy right now in 2024, with everyone on TikTok talking about the winter arc and locking in for the winter. Wearing clothing like this for the gym is not only appropriate for working out, but the message behind wearing that clothing is all about locking in. I'm going to enter my winter arc and exit my winter arc as completely different people. Nike is known for emotional advertising by creating ads that evoke strong feelings, like this Dream Crazy ad starring Colin Kaepernick. Nike saw an opportunity to tell a story, amplify Colin Kaepernick's presence, and connect with consumers that saw themselves in Colin Kaepernick. People that were supportive of the message around social justice quickly went out and bought those products to express their alignment with the cause. Universal Standard is known for offering one of the broadest size ranges in fashion, from 00 to 40, which appeals to customers who value body positivity and representation, causing them to feel seen and included. This emotional connection turns into brand loyalty and creates a culture from a product. And my last example today is Jung Maven, who specialized in local manufacturing for hemp-based clothing. They produce items in small batches, their manufacturing is done locally in the US, and they emphasize limited production, which promotes sustainability and creates an exclusive experience for customers. Alright, so those are all specific examples of already successful brands, but how can smaller brands appeal to emotion-driven consumers? I came up with 5 strategies. The first is to create a consistent brand story. Your brand story should emphasize your values. That could be quality craftsmanship, luxury, or sustainable practices. You want to weave this story through every customer touchpoint, website, packaging, and social media. And absolutely essential to have is an about section on the website, which shares all of these things we've been discussing, like values, origin of the brand, unique design philosophy. All of that will get explained, which will reduce a lot of the anxiety for a shopper on your website. The more information that they have, the more confident they'll be in making a purchase. The next strategy is to use scent or texture for sensory branding. Consider subtle but memorable sensory elements, like a lightly fragranced thank you note or a textured garment bag. These are small and subtle details, but they create an enjoyable unboxing experience and help differentiate your brand. The majority of small brands have a bad unboxing and packaging experience. Leveling this up is one of the easiest ways to make your brand seem more legit. The next strategy is to offer limited editions and exclusive drops. These types of drops capitalize on impulse buyers. Limited seasonal pieces or members-only items tap into the consumer's desire for rarity. That's why Supreme does so well. They do limited edition drops with little pre-launch marketing to build hype. If you can highlight the story and uniqueness of each piece, it will enhance its emotional appeal and make more sales. The next strategy is to encourage community and social connection. Build an engaged community on platforms like Instagram or through events. Authenticity is key to avoid seeming overly promotional. Nobody likes to get beaten over the head with ads, and nobody likes to get beaten over the head with promotional material. If you often post about your community and the people that are cultivating your culture, it will make you seem very authentic. An easy way to promote your community is by featuring customers' photos and a dedicated Instagram story highlight or on your website. This is going to make those customers feel extremely special. The last strategy is to be transparent. Provide information about materials, labor practices, and any sustainable initiatives, especially if they align with your target audience's values. If you use sustainable materials or local manufacturing, mention that in the product descriptions on the website, and highlight any eco-friendly initiatives to reassure your customers while they're in the process of buying that item. Okay, so those were 22 proven tactics that fashion brands use to hook customers' emotions and boost their profits, as well as 5 essential tips for small brands. If you enjoyed this video, found it valuable, or learned something new, please smash the like and subscribe buttons, and make sure to download this whiteboard as well as all of my other whiteboards for free at the link in the description. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, please leave a comment. I'll see you in the next one.